जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी घुमाओ इस तरफ भैया। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Satar Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Satar Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem se Kabho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadari Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, The Renunciation of Kardama Muni, Text number 29. Saha Eva Bhagavan Adya Sayeva Bhagavan Adya Sayeva Bhagavan Adya Helanam Na Ganaya Naha Helanam Na Ganaya Naha Helanam Na Ganaya Naha Griheshu Jataha Gramyanam Griheshu Jato Gramyanam Griheshu Jato Gramyanam Yaha Swanam Paksha Poshanaha Yaswanam Paksha Poshanaha Yaswanam Paksha Poshanaha Sayeva Bhagavan Adya Helanam Naganayanaha Griheshu Jato Gramyanam Yaswanam Paksha Poshanaha Sayeva Bhagavan Adya Helanam Naganayanaha Griheshu Jato Gramyanam Yaswanam Paksha Poshanaha. Saha eva, that very same Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adya, today, Helanam, negligence, Na, not, Ganaya, considering high and low, Naha, our, Griheshu, in the houses, Jataha appeared, Gramyanam of ordinary householders, Yaha he who, Swanam of his own devotees, Pakshaposhanaha who supports the party. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in our homes just to support His devotees. Kindly repeat. Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in our homes just to support His devotees. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Devotees are so affectionate toward the Personality of Godhead that although He does not appear before those who practice yoga in a secluded place, even for many, many births, He agrees to appear in a householder's home where devotees engage in devotional service without material yoga practice. In other words, devotional service to the Lord is so easy that even a householder can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one of the members of his household, as his son, as Karda Muni experienced. He was a householder, although a yogi, but he had the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila Muni, as his son. Devotional service is such a powerful transcendental method that it surpasses all other methods of transcendental realization. The Lord says, therefore, that He lives neither in Vaikuntha nor in the heart of a yogi, but He lives where His pure devotees are always chanting and glorifying Him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Bhakta Vatsala. He is never described as Jnani Vatsala or Yogi Vatsala. He is always described as Bhakta Vatsala because he is more inclined toward his devotees than toward other transcendentalists. In Bhagavad-gita, it is confirmed that only a devotee can understand him as he is. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. One can understand me only by devotional service, not otherwise. That understanding alone is real because although jnanis, mental speculators, can realize only the effulgence or the bodily luster of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and yogis can realize only the partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a bhakta not only realizes Him as He is, but also associates with the Personality of Godhead face to face. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham mande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Long ago there was a king who was ruling over the earth by the name Ambarish Maharaj. This Ambarish Maharaj was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and his wives were also equally qualified as devotees, and because of both husband and wife being great devotees, naturally their life was immersed in devotional service to Krishna. When a great king like Ambarish Maharaj is a great devotee of Krishna, naturally the message spreads. And far and wide, the fame of Ambarish Maharaj had spread, that he was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as a result of which he was a greatly spiritual person. Now at that time, there were other great sages also living on the earth, and one of them was Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni also happened to hear about the glories of Maharaj Ambarish, that he is a great emperor and he is a great devotee, he is always engaged in spiritual activities, and so on and so forth. Now on one hand, Ambarish Maharaj was a king, enjoying all kinds of royal opulences. And here was Durvasa Muni, who had given up the material world. He was living in the forest, in a hermitage. He had executed great austerities, tapasyas, and he had attained all the yoga siddhis, very well versed in the scriptures, highly qualified in many ways. Naturally, when he heard everybody glorifying Ambarish Maharaj, he felt a little envious. After all, he is a king and a grihastha. I am a great yogi. How can he become more famous than me? Naturally, driven by this envy, Durvasa Muni thought, let me show to the world who is greater. The king is greater, or a rishi like me is greater. I will show him my power and subdue him by my power, by which the world will recognize that I am far more powerful than him, than an ordinary king like Ambarish Maharaj. Now Ambarish Maharaj at that time had been executing a vow of following Ekadashi and breaking the fast of Ekadashi on Dwadashi for about a year. Because following the Ekadashi Vrata is pleasing to Krishna. After following this Vrata for about a year, in the month of Kartika Masa, which is very auspicious. Kartik month is also known as Damodara month. Kartik month is very auspicious because Krishna performed many leelas, many wonderful leelas, pastimes during the month of Kartik. The pastime of being bound to the wooden mortar by the ropes of his mother Yashoda, by which he got the name Damodara. So the Damodara leela was performed during this month. Krishna lifted the Govardhana hill during the Kartik month. Krishna killed Kamsa during the Kartik month. Like this, Kartik month has become very auspicious. Naturally, in Vrindavan Dham, even today, the Kartik month is celebrated with great fervor. Ambarish Maharaj thought, this Kartik month, let me go to Vrindavan and observe the Ekadashi Vrata. He went to Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan he came to Madhuvan. Madhuvan is also very sacred because Madhuvan is the forest in Vrindavan, one of the forests, one of the Dwadashakanas, one of the 12 forests in Vrindavan, which is where Dhruva Maharaj performed his austerities and pleased Vishnu. Ambarish Maharaj came to Madhuvan, and after coming to Madhuvan, he fasted for 3 days continuously. 3 days continuously, ending with Ekadashi. And then he performed Abhishekam for Krishna. And then on Dwadashi day, the scheduled time for breaking the fast approached. And he did a lot of charity, pleased all the Brahmanas and other devotees assembled there by giving lots of grains in charity, cows in charity, all those kind of rituals, whatever had to be done. He performed all of those activities. Ambarish Maharaj's sole intention was, by all these activities, Krishna will become pleased. So he was very focused. He was performing the Ekadashi Vrata, he was doing Abhishekam for Krishna, he was giving away in charity, all these activities he was doing. with the purpose of pleasing Vishnu or Krishna. Now, after doing all these things, he was about to break his fast. At that time, Durvasa Muni appeared there. Durvasa Muni is a great mystic. He has got all yoga siddhis. He could understand what was going on, and he purposely came there at the time when Ambarish Maharaj was about to break his fast. Naturally, guest has come. Ambarish Maharaj received him, Durvasa Muni, and he worshipped him. He welcomed him with all due etiquette, as was befitting a great rishi like Durvasa Muni. After everything, Ambarish Maharaj invited Durvasa Muni. So you have very mercifully come to my place. I would request you to take prasadam with me. Durvasa Muni said, yes, I'll take prasadam with you. Before that, I have to perform my morning duties. I'll go to the Yamuna, take bath, perform my morning duties and come back, and together we'll take prasadam. Ambarish Maharaj also agreed. Durvasa Muni went to the Yamuna, took bath, and then sat down meditating upon impersonal Brahman. In the meantime, Ambarish Maharaj is waiting. When will Durvasa Muni come? He is waiting. Durvasa Muni also purposely not waking up from his meditation. Now what to do? The scheduled time for breaking the fast on Dwadashi was fast getting over. For 1 year, he had been observing that vrata, Ambarish Maharaj. That every Ekadashi he would fast on Dwadashi at the scheduled time, he will do the parana, he will do the breaking of the fast. Now on the last Ekadashi, if he were to not able to break the fast at the right time, his vrata of that 1 year will be broken, which he thought would not be pleasing to Krishna. He wanted to please Krishna at any cost. Therefore, there were many other learned Brahmanas who were also assembled there. Ambarish Maharaj asked them, what shall I do? It is not appropriate for me to break my fast, to eat before a guest, Atiti, who has come to my house, before I feed him. It is not appropriate that I eat. Durvasa Muni has come as my guest. It is my duty according to Dharma, according to Shastras, that first I have to feed him, then only I can take prasadam. Simultaneously, the time for breaking the fast is also getting over. Now, if Durvasa Muni does not come before the time gets over, then my whole purpose of following this vrata for a year to please Vishnu will be lost. How do I do this now? How do I solve this problem? How do I get out of this dilemma? I cannot break my fast because the guest, Durvasa Muni, has come, and I cannot wait forever because I have to break my fast, the time is getting over. How to solve this problem? The Brahmanas there, they were all Karmakandi Brahmanas. They knew all the Vedic scriptures, Dharma and different Karmakanda portion of the Vedas. They were all well versed. They started discussing among themselves, what's the solution? One Brahmana is proposing in one way, another is proposing in another way. They were not able to come to a conclusion. Then Ambarish Maharaj, because he is a great Vaishnava, although he is not learned in the scriptures, he put forth a simple solution. He said, drinking water is considered to be breaking the fast as well as not breaking the fast. It is considered both ways. Therefore, if I take a little water now, a few sips of water I will take, it will be like breaking the fast. So I would have kept the vrata, the vow of breaking the fast on Dwadashi, and it will be pleasing to Vishnu. At the same time, I would not have transgressed the etiquette of not eating before my guest has eaten. What do you all think about this solution? All the Brahmanas immediately said, oh, yes, yes, yes. This is a wonderful idea. Shri Krishna Rukmini. This is very appropriate to the situation. This is something you can do. There is no harm in this. You would not have broken the etiquette of not eating before the guest has eaten, and you would also have broken your fast on Dwadashi within the scheduled time. Now, having got their acceptance, Ambarish Maharaj sipped a few drops of water. Durvasa Muni, because he was a mystic, he understood. Now Ambarish Maharaj has broken his fast. So he stopped his meditation and came to the place where Ambarish Maharaj was situated. And he was really angry. He was trembling with anger, Durvasa Muni. He said, you are a king, you are supposed to uphold the dharma. And you yourself are breaking the dharma. How can you break your fast before I have eaten? This is a great transgression of dharmic principles from your side. And therefore, I am going to punish you for this. After all, what did he do? He even if you consider Durvasa Muni's his side of his point of view, that Ambarish Maharaj had transgressed the principle that one should not eat before the guest has eaten. Although Ambarish Maharaj had not transgressed the principle, but still, even if we consider like that, what punishment can you give? Some small punishment you can give. But Durvasa Muni had come there with the intention to show his power. He was just waiting for the smallest of errors. Now this was enough for him. He pulled out a clump of hair from his head, and from that he created a big demon. And he told, now this demon, go and kill Ambarish Maharaj. Death is not the penalty for transgression of such a small thing. He could have punished him with some smaller thing. But Durvasa Muni's intention was not that. He wanted to show his power to the world, that he was more powerful than Ambarish Maharaj. Therefore, at the drop of a hat, he decided to kill Ambarish Maharaj. He had become so envious, Durvasa Muni. Now this fearful demon rushed towards Ambarish Maharaj with the intention to kill him. What was Ambarish Maharaj's response? He was a Kshatriya. He could have taken up arms and fought against the Rakshasa, against the demon. But he thought, Durvasa Muni is a great Brahmana, he is a great Rishi. He has cursed me that I should die at the hands of this demon. If I fight the demon and save myself, then that will be breaking the word of a Brahmana like Durvasa Muni. A Brahmana like Durvasa Muni, his word should not be broken. Therefore, he folded his hands and was ready to get killed. Although Ambarish Maharaj was so great, he thought he did not take offense at what Durvasa Muni was doing. But still, Krishna, he is Bhakta Vatsala. He is always the well-wisher of the devotees. This was intolerable for Krishna. Immediately what happened? Narayana sent his Sudarshana Chakra to protect Ambarish Maharaj. Suddenly, on the spot, the Sudarshana Chakra appeared, blazing effulgent, and it immediately killed the demon in no time, because the power of the Sudarshana Chakra is something which nobody can match. And then what happened? The Sudarshana Chakra went after Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni is seeing, suddenly Sudarshana Chakra has come, and the demon he created also killed. Now Sudarshana Chakra is coming after him. Durvasa Muni said, "Ayyo, what happened?" Now what to do? He started running. And he started running, and the heat of Sudarshana Chakra was so intense, he was feeling as if his back was burning. And he ran here, there, he went to Sumeru mountain, he thought, I will hide in some cave. He tried hiding in a cave, he went to the depth of the ocean, he traveled everywhere Sudarshana Chakra, without the least reduction in its burning intensity, was following him, and it was not leaving him. Relentlessly it was following him. What to do? Everywhere the Durvasa Muni is going, the Sudarshana Chakra is not leaving. Finally he ran to Brahma, and he fell at the lotus feet of Brahma, and he said, "Please protect me, Sudarshana Chakra is after me, you only have to protect me." Brahma said that, you see, I live for Dviparardha, I live for my lifetime of 100 years. And at the end of that, my lifespan, Vishnu, simply by twitching his eyebrow, he completely destroys the whole universe. And he winds up everything within his abdomen. Such is the power of Vishnu. How can I ever think of opposing him by trying to stop the Sudarshana Chakra? It's impossible. Durvasa Muni understood Brahma is not going to protect him, so he immediately ran. Now where to go? Who is more powerful than Brahma? He ran to Lord Shiva. And he fell at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva and prayed to him to protect him from Sudarshana Chakra. What was Lord Shiva's response? Lord Shiva said, Brahma, myself, Yamaraj, all of us, we bow down our heads at the lotus feet of Vishnu. We cannot even in our dreams think of opposing Vishnu. It is impossible. It is not possible for me to protect you. Now Durvasa Muni thought, now what to do? Where shall I go? The only place left is Narayana. So he ran to Vaikuntha and he fell at the lotus feet of Narayana. And he begged Narayana. He told Narayana, Narayana, you are so powerful that the most sinful person, if you can deliver even the most sinful person simply by awakening in his mind the remembrance of your holy name. Simply by remembering your holy name, even the most sinful person can be delivered. Such is your power. So you are the only person who can deliver me, who can protect me from the Sudarshana Chakra. But Narayana also refused. He said, if you want real protection, even I cannot protect you. Go back to Ambarish Maharaj and seek his help. Now Durvasa Muni had exhausted all his options. There was nowhere left to go. By force, he had to come back to Ambarish Maharaj. He came back to Ambarish Maharaj. Now by the time he came back, Durvasa Muni, by the time he came back to Madhuvana, he had travelled all over to Brahmaloka, to Shivaloka, to Vaikuntha. Everywhere he had gone and he was returning. So 1 year had passed. During that 1 year, Ambarish Maharaj was still waiting without eating. Because the guest has not yet eaten. 1 year he has waited without eating. And the moment Durvasa Muni came to Madhuvan, he came and fell at Ambarish Maharaj's lotus feet and begged him for forgiveness. Ambarish Maharaj was feeling very shy and embarrassed. He was thinking, such a great yogi, you are coming and falling at my feet. Please, 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 don't do this. Then Durvasa Muni told him, only you can protect me from Sudarshana Chakra. Then Ambarish Maharaj started praying to the Sudarshana Chakra, which had also come there. He started praying to Sudarshana Chakra by glorifying Sudarshana Chakra. That, oh Sudarshana Chakra, what are you? You are simply the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And your power is such that it can destroy the power of all other weapons. And you are the source of the power of devotional service, of Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, I am praying to you. Like this, he glorified Sudarshana Chakra and prayed to Sudarshana Chakra to leave, to excuse Durvasa Muni. And because Ambarish Maharaj prayed, the Sudarshana Chakra also withdrew itself and went back to Narayana. Like this, Durvasa Muni was saved from the offense he committed at the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj. And then Durvasa Muni also glorified Ambarish Maharaj because Durvasa Muni had come to his senses. He understood that I am a yogi, but this Ambarish Maharaj, although he is just a king, he is far more powerful than me because he is a pure devotee of Krishna. And then Ambarish Maharaj made him sit and served him prasadam, and Ambarish Maharaj also partook prasadam, and this way all their enmity was settled. Now the interesting thing in this whole event, in this whole pastime, where it was the power of a devotee, the power of devotional service was established to be far higher than that of any yogi. The interesting thing in this pastime is about Lord Narayana's response to Durvasa when Durvasa Muni met him in Vaikuntha. When Durvasa Muni met Narayana in Vaikuntha and beseeched him to protect him from Sudarshana Chakra, Narayana spoke a few words, beautiful verses, which are described in the 9th canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Beautiful verses, Lord Narayana speaks to Sudarshana Chakra. The first thing that Narayana told Durvasa Muni when Durvasa Muni asked him to protect him from the Sudarshana Chakra, the first thing that Narayana told Durvasa Muni was, Aham bhakta paradhino hi asvatantra iva dvija. Sadhubir grasta hridayo bhaktair bhakta jana priyaha. Narayana told Durvasa Muni that aham bhakta paradhino, although I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, aham bhakta paradhinaha. Paradhina means I am subordinate to my devotees. See this? Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is nobody above him. All of us living entities are his part and parcel. Still, when a Jivatma becomes a pure devotee, the Lord makes himself subordinate to that devotee. And not only that, he aswatantra iva dvija. Dvija, O Brahmana, Narayana is referring to Durvasa Muni. He is calling Durvasa Muni, O Dvija, O twice born, aswatantra iva. I am actually not independent in my actions. I cannot act without the permission of my devotees. Who is saying this? Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Controller. He is the Parameshwara. There is nobody above him. He is saying, I cannot act without the permission of my devotees. Aswatantra iva dvija. This is the love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pure devotees. He puts himself under the control of his devotees. Sadhubir grasta hridayo. And he says that I am in the core of the hearts of my devotees. Sadhubir grasta hridayo bhaktair bhakta jana priyaha. Not only are my pure devotees dear to me, bhakta jana priyaha, even those who are devotees of my pure devotees, Narayana is saying, even those people are also very dear to me. So, even though we may not be pure devotees, because we are devotees of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, we become very dear to Krishna. This is how much the pure devotees of Krishna control him. Krishna is so much controlled by his pure devotees that even those who are devotees of his pure devotee, even though such devotees may not be pure devotees themselves, even they become very dear to Krishna. And then Narayana further he told Durvasa Muni, Naham atmanam ashase mad bhaktaihi sadhubir vina shriyam chatyantikim brahman yesham gatiraham para. Narayana told Durvasa Muni, not only am I subordinate to my devotees, he said, Naham atmanam ashase. I do not wish to enjoy my spiritual bliss in the spiritual world. I do not wish to enjoy the spiritual happiness which is pervading the spiritual world. Shreyam atyantikim, and nor do I wish to enjoy all my opulences. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is full of 6 opulences. All beauty, all knowledge, all power, all fame, all opulences. Like this, all wealth. So like this, he is full of 6 opulences. And Narayana is saying, I don't wish to enjoy any of them. Mad bhaktaihi sadhubir vina. Without my devotees, I don't wish to enjoy my spiritual bliss, nor do I wish to enjoy all my opulences. Why? Because yesham gatiraham para. The devotees are fully surrendered to me and they are my only goal. For them, I am their only goal. For the pure devotees, Krishna is the only goal. Therefore, Narayana is saying, without my pure devotees, I do not wish to enjoy the spiritual world. And then he says, Sadhavo hridayam mahyam, sadhunam hridayam tvaham. So he says, Narayana says, I am filled in the heart of my devotees, and my heart is filled with thoughts of my devotees. Sadhavo hridayam mahyam, sadhunam hridayam tvaham. Madanyattena jananti, my pure devotees do not know anything other than me. They will not go to any other devata. They will not undertake any other process of jnana, karma, dhyana, none of these things. They know only me and my devotional service. Madanyattena jananti, and therefore he says, Narayana says that Naham tebhyo managapi, even I also know nobody other than my devotees. Narayana is immersed in thoughts of his devotees, and Narayana's pure devotees are immersed in thoughts of him. Reciprocal. You see how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, he is so loving, and he is completely captured. He is captivated. Narayana's heart, Krishna's heart is captivated by his pure devotees. He cannot think of anything else. He cannot think of anyone else except his devotees. Now the question comes, why does Krishna become so much captivated by his devotees? What is so special about his devotees that he has become captivated like this by them? Narayana explains this to Durvasa Muni. He said, Narayana told Durvasa Muni, because why the devotees are so special is because Ye daragara sutapta pranan vittam imam param. These devotees, pure devotees, in their life, what differentiates them from the others? He says, Ye daragara sutapta pranan vittam imam param hitva mad saranam yataha. So the pure devotees, Sharanam Yataha, they've taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. How have they taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna? Hitva, they have given up everything else. Dara, their wives, Agara, homes, Suta, children, Apta, relatives, Pranan, even their own lives, Vittam, their wealth. All these things they have given up for the sake of Krishna and Narayana. All these things are very dear to a person. For a man, his wife is very dear. She is the dearmost to a man. For the sake of the wife, a man is ready to give up his parents. He will give up everything else, but he will not give up his wife. So wife is very dear to the husband. And Agara, next comes home. And more dear than the home is children. And so the dearmost is the wife, then comes one's home, then comes children, then comes relatives. So like this, one after the other, all these things are very dear to one. So the devotees, pure devotees, give up all these things. Their minds are never bothered about these things. One may question, what's so big about this? A person like Durvasa Muni, he has also given up his home, his family, all vittam, wealth, everything he has also given up. What is so special about devotees? Pranan, even their lives, the devotees are not bothered. Even that also you can say, okay, some people for achieving their goals, sometimes they sacrifice their life also. Sometimes kings, when they are fighting a battle of Dharma Yuddha, they are ready to sacrifice their life to protect Dharma. There are many people who will sacrifice their life. What is so big about even devotees? Imam Param, the devotees are not bothered even about what happens to them in their next life. They are not bothered about going to Swarga like all the karmis are bothered. Nor are they even bothered about liberation. Great sages like Durvasa, they have given up all these wife, children, home, wealth, all these things they have also given up. But for what? For the sake of attaining liberation. And the pure devotees, they are not bothered even about liberation. They have given up even the desire to be liberated from the cycle of birth and death for the sake of pleasing Krishna. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also prays in his Sikshashtaka, Mama Janmani Janmani Sware Bhavatar Bhakti Rahaituki Tvayi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays to Krishna, Mama Janmani Janmani Shiro, O Krishna, you are my Lord and Master, lifetime after lifetime, birth after birth. When you say Janmani Janmani, birth after birth, what does it mean? It means you are not going to be liberated. If you are liberated, where is the question of Janmani Janmani? And if you are taking birth after birth, Janma after Janma, where is liberation? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Janmani Janmani, let me not be liberated, let me go on taking birth again and again within this material world. But in every birth, you are my only master. And in every birth, Bhakti Rahaituki, let me perform unmotivated, unalloyed devotional service to you. Therefore, the pure devotees desire only to render unalloyed, unmotivated devotional service to Krishna. They are not even bothered about liberation from this distressful material world. Look at the renunciation of the pure devotees. And therefore, Narayana tells him, Durvasa Muni, that Hitvamam Saranam Yata, because they have taken shelter of me like this, Katam Tam Styaktum Utsahe, how can I ever give them up? I will constantly be by their side. Krishna will constantly protect them. That's why Krishna tells Arjuna also in the Bhagavad-gita that Mad Bhakta na pranashyati. He tells Arjuna, you declare to the world that my devotee will never be vanquished. Why? Because Krishna is constantly thinking of the welfare of his devotees and he will not allow them to be vanquished at any cost. Because the pure devotees have given up everything else, even the desire for liberation, just to please Krishna or Vishnu. Therefore, when someone gives up one's family, one's home, one's career, one's wealth, one's education, one gives up all these things and surrenders his life to Krishna, he becomes immediately very dear to Krishna. Therefore, by the mercy of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, we have all been given that opportunity, that great fortune of being dedicated completely to the service of Srila Prabhupada's mission. We all who are temple devotees, we have got such a great fortune to be able to give up our families, to give up our parents, to give up our careers, to give up the wealth of the material world, to give up our homes. All these things we have given up and come here. And that just that one act of giving up all these things and coming here just because we want to serve Srila Prabhupada. Immediately all of us have become very dear to Krishna. And this is simply because Srila Prabhupada has inspired us in our heart to do this. Otherwise it's not possible. It's very, very difficult to give up one's home, to give up one's parents, to give up one's house, family, wealth, career, education, all these things, giving up is not easy. But because of the kripa of Prabhupada, the Bhakti Lata Bija, the seed of devotional service has been sown in our heart and we have been able to give up our homes, our parents and our relatives, our friends, everything we have given up, our careers, our education, everything we have given up and we have come here. We are not bothered about our wealth, what I will do in my old age, if my prime of my youth, if I spend in Prabhupada's mission, I will not be able to earn money. What will happen to all the education I got in my college? What will happen to my parents? Who will look after my parents? We don't bother about these things. We are not thinking about these things. This actually makes us very, very dear to Krishna. Because why we are doing all these things? Not because we have got some pure devotion towards Krishna or we have developed love for Krishna. We are doing it because it is for Prabhupada. And simply by doing this for Prabhupada, as Narayana told Durvasa Muni, Bhaktair Bhakta Janapriyaha, because we have done this for Prabhupada, Krishna becomes very pleased and we become dear to Krishna. Therefore, it is such a great fortune to be able to dedicate our life for Prabhupada's mission and to serve him. And this makes us very dear to Krishna, and this process of bhakti is so powerful that a devotee who has dedicated his life for Prabhupada becomes more powerful than even a yogi. Like we see in the case of Ambarish Maharaj. That's why Prabhupada also in the purport is quoting from one of the Puranas where it says, Naham tishtami vaikunthe yoginam hridayeshu va tatra tishtami narada yad gayanti madbhaktaha. This is again spoken by Vishnu to Narada Muni. That I don't live in Vaikuntha. Naham tishtami vaikunthe. People normally think that Narayana stays in Vaikuntha. Narayana says, I am not interested in living in Vaikuntha. Yoginam hridayeshu va, and all great big yogis are sitting and searching out Narayana within the heart, Paramatma within the heart. So people may think, okay, he is residing within the hearts of great yogis because in Samadhi they are able to constantly see Vishnu within their heart. What is Vishnu telling Narada Muni? I am not interested in being in the hearts of the great yogis also. Then, where do you like to be? Tatra tishtami Narada. I live where? Yatra gayanti madbhakta. Where my devotees are there, my pure devotees, who are constantly glorifying me. In other words, Narayana is living in Vaikuntha because he is surrounded by so many devotees there. If you empty out all the devotees from Vaikuntha, Narayana also will leave Vaikuntha and go away. He is not interested in living Vaikuntha. He is living there because his pure devotees are there. So therefore, the position of bhakti, the position of pure devotional service, the position of Ananya Bhakti is so great that even Narayana becomes subordinate to it. And therefore, he is saying, Kardama Muni is saying, what am I? I am just an ordinary householder. But you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, instead of being in the hearts of great yogis to be meditated upon for thousands and thousands of lifetimes to be seen by them, you personally, without my trying to meditate upon you, you are personally coming and you have come to my house as my own son, so that constantly you can be in front of my eyes. I don't have to meditate because you have become my son in my house constantly. Every day I am seeing you only. You see the love of Narayana for his devotee. He is saying, why Kardama Muni should meditate upon me and undergo so much difficulty, and after thousands of lifetimes he has to see me. I will go and sit in front of him so that every day he can look at me. This is the love of Krishna for his pure devotees. And so therefore, Kardama Muni is acknowledging the love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is saying that Sa Eva Bhagavan Adya, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, today what has happened? Helanam na ganayanaha. Without considering all my negligence. Kardama Muni, being a very humble devotee, is thinking, I am not a pure devotee. I have been ignorant, I have been negligent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still, disregarding all my neglect, what has the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sa Eva Bhagavan Adya, today, what has he done? Griheshu jataha, Gramyanam Griheshu jataha. He has incarnated as my son. He has taken birth in my house as my own son. Why? Because Yahaswanam Pakshaposhanaha, because he is interested in supporting his devotees. Because I am a devotee, I am not a pure devotee. I have negligently I did some devotional service, but the Lord is so kind, he is so loving. He has come to my house, as my son, simply to support my devotional service. This is the humility of Kardama Muni. Therefore, if we have to bring the Supreme Personality of Godhead under our control, we simply have to render bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, pure devotional service. That will bring the Supreme Personality of Godhead under our control. This is what we can understand from today's verse. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss. Anybody has anything to say? Yes, please. Radhachar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, many people I've heard, they say, service to God, my real service to God is first I have to serve my parents. So, what do you will say for that?
That is for the common people. For those who are not engaged in pure devotional service to Krishna, they have to engage in service to their superiors. Service to the superiors is the way to please the Supreme Lord. As according to Varnashrama Dharma, what is Varnashrama Dharma? In Varnashrama Dharma, there is a gradation of superior and superior people. The gradation of superior and inferior in Varnashrama Dharma is according to one's spiritual advancement. The more spiritually advanced a person is, the more respected he is. And this kind of subordinate and inferior relationship is approved of in the Varnashrama Dharma, because Varnashrama Charavata Purushena Parappuman Vishnuraradhyate Nanyat Tattosha Karanam. See, the point is we have to develop our feelings of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is the whole thing. How we have to become liberated from this material world and reinstate ourselves in our original constitutional position in the spiritual world is by developing our surrender. The whole reason why we have come to this material world is because we have rebelled. We don't want to surrender Krishna, therefore we have to come here. If we have to go out of the material world back to the spiritual world, then we have to give up that sense of rebellion and we have to again surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, for a person to all of a sudden surrender completely to Krishna may not be possible. Therefore, in the Varnashrama system, there is a gradation in the human society where more spiritually advanced people, and there are more spiritually advanced people and there are less spiritually advanced people. And therefore, we begin by surrendering ourselves to the more advanced, more spiritually advanced people. Therefore, in Varnashrama Dharma, because everyone is supposed to be spiritually advancing, the father is supposed to be more spiritually advanced than the son. Naturally, therefore, in society, the parents are considered the natural spiritual masters. The king is considered a natural spiritual master. Then the guru, the teacher who gives knowledge to us, is another spiritual master. If we learn to surrender to these personalities, assuming that all of them are following Varnashrama Dharma and they are all spiritually advanced, then it is beneficial for me to develop my sense of surrender to Krishna eventually. Therefore, surrendering to a higher personality is part of the Varnashrama culture. A son has to surrender to his father. Citizens have to surrender to the king. The king has to surrender himself to the learned Brahmanas. The whole society has to surrender to the devatas. The devatas have to surrender to Vishnu. Like this, everybody is surrendering to someone or the other. Therefore, if one surrenders to one's parents, provided they are spiritually advanced personalities, then it is pleasing to Krishna. Now, the Shastras also state, in the Shastras, there are lower principles and higher principles also. There are some principles which are to be followed which may be sacrificed under exceptional circumstances. In the Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Devarshi bhutapta nrinam pitrunam nayam rinina kinkaro rajyan sharanam saranyam gato mukundam pariharatya kartam. If somebody has taken shelter, has surrendered to Mukunda, Krishna, sharanam saranyam gato mukundam pariharatya kartam, giving up all other duties. One has one's duties to devatas. One has one's duties to rishis, because they've given us so much knowledge. And we are obligated to various other living entities, like we drink the milk of the cow. We are obligated to the cow because we are taking service from her. Not only human beings, any animal also we take service from that animal, we are obligated to that animal also, because ultimately they are also living entities. They are also jivatmas. And Devarshi bhutapta nrinam pitrunam, to our parents also we are obligated. Not only our parents, even to their parents, to all our ancestors, we are obligated. Because of our parents, we have got the human form of life, which we can utilize in becoming liberated and going back to Godhead. Such a great opportunity the human form of life is presenting to us. And that facility to be able to go back to Godhead is available only in the human form of life. No other form of life, neither in the plant form, nor in the animal form, nor in the bird form, no other form it is available. Such a great opportunity has been given to us by our parents. Naturally, we are obligated to them. Like this, we have obligations to so many personalities. Not just our parents, to the devotees, to the rishis, to other living entities, to our parents, to our ancestors. We are obligated to all of them. But Gato Mukundam, if we Saranam Saranyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam, if we give up all these duties, simply surrender to Krishna Mukunda, then what? Nayam Rini Nakinkaro Rajan, all his Rina, all his debts to his ancestors, to his parents, to his relatives, to other living entities, to the devatas, to the rishis, all that is absolved. One shot it is absolved. He is no more a debtor, Nayam Rini Nakinkaraha. He is no more required to serve all these personalities. He doesn't have to serve his parents, he doesn't have to serve the king of the kingdom, he doesn't have to serve the devatas, he doesn't have to serve other rishis and sages, he doesn't have to serve anyone else. Because, why? Because by surrendering to our parents, to the king, to the devatas, to the rishis, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to come to the point of surrendering to Krishna. If I surrender to all these personalities but don't surrender to Krishna, then that surrender is a waste. Because that human form has not given me the liberation of going back to Godhead. Similarly, on the other hand, if I have surrendered to Krishna, then the purpose of serving to all other personalities is also served. No need to serve any of them anymore. The other example given in the Srimad-Bhagavatam is how pranopahara cha yathendriyanam. What is the beginning of the verse? Yatha taror moola nishayachinena tripyanti tatskanda bujopashakhaha. Pranopahara cha yathendriyanam sarvarhanam tatha achyutejya. If we worship Achyuta, Krishna, then everyone else is taken care of. You don't have to serve anyone else. Why? Because the example is given that yatha taror moola nishayachanena. Taru means tree. Moola means the root. Taror moola means the root of a tree. If we pour water to the root of a tree, the whole tree is nourished. You don't have to pour water to the twigs, to the branches, to the leaves, to the twigs, to the fruits, to the flowers. You don't have to pour water separately. And if you put food to the stomach, the whole body becomes energized. You don't have to provide food separately to the eyes, separately to the ears, to the nose. Not required. You just put food to the stomach. That's it. This is the way the stomach is related with the rest of the parts of the body. All the parts of the body are connected to the stomach in such a way, if the stomach is satisfied, all the other parts of the body become satisfied. The root is connected to the tree in such a way, if you satisfy the root, the entire tree is satisfied. Krishna is like that. Krishna is like the root of the tree or like the stomach of the body. If you satisfy Krishna, everything else is taken care of. Therefore, for one who has not surrendered to Krishna, service to the spiritual master, service to one's parents, service to one's ancestors, service to other rishis and devatas, service to the demigods, service to the king, all these are essential. Nobody can escape from that. On the other hand, if one has surrendered to Krishna, then there is no necessity of doing the rest of the things, because the goal of doing all that is already achieved. This is the understanding. Is that okay? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We are in Gragastha life now. I am a woman now. I can't go very, very dear to Krishna because they are under left everything and service full time 24 hours for Krishna, but I can't do no.
So you are saying that
as a woman, I have family and
you have your duties to your household, so you are not able to surrender fully.
24 hours I couldn't.
Yes.
So how can I be very dear to Krishna?
Okay. So in the case of Grihasthas, like Ambarish Maharaj, he was living in his house, he was living in his palace, and he was living in the midst of his family. But he also became a pure devotee, isn't it? What we have to understand is, if we are, for any circumstances, we are not able to surrender ourselves, dedicate our life for the service of the mission of the spiritual master, then there is another way. We convert our home into Vaikuntha. You consider your own home as not your home. This is the home of Prabhupada. Your home becomes the ashrama. What is the difference between others' homes and the ashram where we live, Prabhupada's ashram? Because others in their home, what do? They engage in sense gratification. They cook and eat to satisfy themselves. They want some leisure, they go out to some movie. They go to somebody's wedding, some party. This is their life. Their idea in gaining wealth is what? I want to accumulate and able to buy myself a good house, have a good car, have good luxuries, put an AC at the home, all these things, put a TV at home, all these bring me satisfaction. My goal in earning money is what? For my own sense gratification. The difference in the ashram is what? In the ashram also we cook, but cook for whom? For the Lord. So in your house also you cook, but you cook for the Lord. We don't engage in sense gratification. So in the ashram also we go out, we collect money, we collect donations from people and bring it to the temple. For what? Not because with this money I can buy myself some good, nice, luxurious things. No. We bring that money and offer it to Prabhupada. It should be utilized in expanding Prabhupada's mission. So as Grihasthas, you also earn money. Utilize that money in spreading Krishna's message. How to do that? Whenever possible, hold Sankirtana at home, invite others from your neighbors, friends, etc. And you distribute Prabhupada's books to them, distribute prasadam to them, engage them in chanting Hare Krishna mantra. This is your leisure. And this is how you spend your money. If you do these kind of activities, your house itself becomes an ashrama. The whole thing is the intention with which we are doing various activities. Activities are not changing. We are also eating, we are also collecting money, we are also having a place to sleep, all those things are there. We are also singing, dancing, everything we are also doing. We are also reading, all those things we are also doing. But everything is centered around Krishna. So, to dedicate oneself directly to the mission of Prabhupada is a great fortune. It may not be available for everyone. But doesn't mean that others who are not able to dedicate themselves like that have lost the opportunity. No, for them also that opportunity is there. If they convert their house into a temple, if their house itself becomes the ashrama of Prabhupada, then the same result can be achieved even in one's normal household life. Of course, the life as a full-time devotee in Prabhupada's mission, nothing can compare to that. It's incomparable. But still, even a person in normal household life is also not bereft of the advantages of devotional service if one sticks to the principles of Krishna consciousness. Is that okay? So we'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.